Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to my Demon Slayer KIMETSU no YAIBA read-through. Before we get started, we only have one more volume to read, pretty much the final volume of this entire series, and it's been brought to my attention that the final chapter has an extended version. Well, and I should read it. Well, I very carefully looked into the final volume of Demon Slayer, like the details of it. Not story details, but its official English release. It's going to release next week on Tuesday, August 3rd. And it will include the extended pages for the final chapter of this series. So don't worry, I'm going to read it. The good thing about it is not going to be a video on which I record. I'm going to stream it live, me reading through the final volume of Demon Slayer for you guys. So I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy the final volume, and then I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to stream it live where I read through the final volume and bring Demon Slayer to a close. So for those of you who have brought it to my attention that there's an extended edition of the final chapter of this series, don't worry. I'll read it when I go out and get the final volume next Tuesday, not a Monday, next Tuesday. So don't worry, we'll work through that. I got you guys, trust me. You guys tell me, and I'm so glad that they're including the extended edition in the official release as well. So marking calendars for August 3rd. Don't set a specific time frame because you know how traffic can be. But mark your calendars for August 3rd. I'll be live streaming my final reading of Demon Slayer KIMETSU no YAIBA, and it will bring the series to a close. So I just want to say thank you guys for sticking with me through all of these volumes. But today we are going to be reading through chapters 188 through 196, which makes up volume 22 of the series. Yes, that is volume 22 right there. But I'm reading it from my phone so that way I can keep my mic close to my face. And we'll continue the string of how I've been reading it this whole time. But in chapter 187, it was Tanjiro going through the memories of one of his ancestors as we see the life of Yoriichi. And it's with Tanjiro trying to figure out, well, there's got to be a way that we can beat Muzan, because Muzan right now, he has gone full transcendent Aizen, and he's dealing with the other Hashira right now, while Tanjiro is kind of knocked out. And well, I wouldn't say knocked out, it's just that his body is slowly breaking down from the inside due to the nature of Muzan's attacks. He infuses his blood in his attacks, so when it goes into a person, it begins to break their body down. And I believe Kanroji was hit with this as well. So now we get to see what happens after Yoriichi was hugging the small child in Tanjiro's memory. So, onwards to chapter 188, Sorrowful Love. And it shows Muzan here just unleashing strikes in every single direction. Like a 360 omnidirectional slash that's just breaking the entire environment down. And Gyomei is thinking, he's gotten even faster. It's overwhelming. I can't even get a feel for his attacks. And then Iguro is thinking, I can no longer shield Himejima. I'll also be immobile soon. And it shows Gyu Tomioka and Shinazugawa fighting as well, and Kanroji, she's got hit as well.
I can't see him at all. I'm relying on intuition and luck to dodge. I'll be the first one to fall even though I've barely helped at all. I just have to be willing to risk it all and attack, but even then I may not be able to stop Muzan.
And it shows Muzan slashing in her direction, completely demolishing a building she just dodges past.
Instead of cutting him, maybe I should try pinning his arms too.
And then, as she's thinking, the scar, pretty much the cut that was left by Muzan, it starts to affect her body.
Huh? Something's holding me down.
And then all of a sudden, she's immediately slashed in numerous places by Muzan's whips. She gets hit across the face, she gets hit across the arm. Iguro sees this and rushes towards her. Because the thing is, Kanroji thought she dodged it, but Muzan is moving faster than they're able to process right now. And then Gyomei, as Iguro is launching himself towards Kanroji, Gyomei thinks, what was that attack? I thought Kanroji had dodged it. And it shows Muzan aiming for Iguro and Kanroji, but Giyu, Shinazugawa, and Gyomei block his attacks in order to protect him. And Muzan is steadily clashing with the rest of the Hashira right now. And Iguro has dragged off Kanroji around the corner, along with one of the Mizunotos there as well. With Iguro saying, tend to her wounds. Yes, sir. Find the core member with almond-shaped eyes who has this paper. His name is Yushido. And then Kanroji, who's still massively affected from this attack, she's bleeding all over, is saying,
wait, I can still fight. I won't hold you back.
And then Iguro says, no, you've done enough. And she continues saying,
no, I haven't helped at all. I can't die yet.
And Iguro just tells one of the Mizunotos, saying, I'm counting on you. And he says, yes, sir. And Iguro just disappears from the spot.
Wait! I'll go with you. Iguro! No, Iguro, don't get yourself killed.
And she's saying this with tears in her eyes.
I don't want anyone else to die.
And it shows Iguro, who's just running straight back to the fight, thinking, demons. So many lives have been lost because demons exist in this world. I wish that you and I had met under normal circumstances. No, that is impossible for me. Unless I die and get a different body in which this filthy blood does not flow, I have no right to be with you. Oh, so we finally see Iguro's mouth. Like, cause he had the lower half of his face, like, under wraps this whole time, but we see it, and it has, like, this, what do you call that? Not the Harley Quinn smile, but it's like he has, like, a massive scar going up over both sides of his mouth right now. Kanroji, I belong to a corrupt bloodline that has killed to line its own pockets. With stolen money, we had inhabited mansions, feasted and lived in unnecessary luxury. I need to get my words straight, I'm sorry. With stolen money, we have inhabited mansions, feasted and lived in unnecessary luxury. We are a shameless, avaricious, ostentatious, and ugly clan. I am surprised I was able to even say ostentatious. Go me. The family gave birth to many girls. It had been 370 years since the last birth of a boy. Ever since the time of my birth, they confined me to a cell. My mother, sisters, and aunts fawned over me, so much that it was disgusting. And each day they brought me rich foods. The poor ventilation made the smell of fat so suffocating that I felt nauseous. At night in the cell, I heard the creepy sound of something massive crawling around. And I felt a gaze fixed upon me. My whole body would sweat and I couldn't sleep until the sound stopped. About the time I turned 12, they dragged me from the cell. In a splendid, gaudy, and luxurious room, as if enshrined like an object of worship, was a female demon whose lower body was that of a serpent. And she has a bunch of skulls lined around her. Who have they been feeding to this demon? I immediately realized that it was she who had been coming to see me at night. And then the demon speaks.
You are small, so very small. Perhaps I should wait until you are bigger.
She's eating people. Is the family bringing people to this snake demon to eat? My family had been living off riches stolen from those whom this serpent demon slayed. Oh. So all the wealth that belonged to the people that the snake demon ate, Iguro's family lived off of that. Oh, I see what he means by what he said earlier. The woman loved feeding upon newborn babies, so in return, the family had been offering their own offspring to her as sacrifices. His family hasn't been feeding the snake demon their own children, have they? I was a rare boy child with unusual eyes, so she had taken a great liking to me and allowed me to live until I grew to a more satiating size. She determined that I would live a little longer and had my mouth cut to more closely match her own. Wow. So this snake demon was so fascinated with Iguro that she had his mouth cut in the shape of her own just to match her. She determined that I would live a little longer and had my mouth cut to more closely match her own. The blood I spilled filled a chalice and she drank it. She drank the blood that came from the cut that they inflicted on him just to make him look more like her. That is so twisted. Back in my cell, I thought only of escaping and surviving. With a stolen hairpin, I began scratching away the lattice of my cell. Each day I was a nervous wreck for fear they would discover it, and the only living creature I could trust was the snake Kaburamaru, who strayed in. Ah, so that's the name of the snake. That is always with Iguro. Kaburamaru. That's nice. I wonder if Kaburamaru would get along with Orochimaru. Then I made my escape. Along the way, she nearly caught and killed me, but at the last moment, the flame Hashira saved me. Wow, Rengoku just straight up saved Iguro back then. The flame Hashira brought together my surviving cousin and me, but she rejected me.
It's your fault. She killed everyone because you ran away. 50 people, and you killed them. You were supposed to let the demon eat you as a sacrifice.
My cousin's berating was entirely unjustified. However, her words deeply pained me. I had considered what might happen to my relatives if I attempted escape, but I had fled because I wanted to live. As the member of a filthy family, I too was corrupt. My sins were deep, so I could not live a normal life. With no other outlet, I turned all my rage on demons and a grudge of intense hatred. By risking my life for others, I felt as if I had in some way become a slightly better person. However, the decaying hands of 50 people whose eyes shone with reproach continued to claw at me and hold me back. I want to die defeating Muzan, and I pray that it will purify my filthy blood. Then, if I am reborn as a human being, in a peaceful world without demons, I will tell you of my feelings for you. Yo, Iguro's got a thing for Kanroji! No wonder he's so adamant about being around her and, protecting her through all these chapters. Well, look at Iguro. Go you, Snake Hashira. But that's the end of chapter 188, onwards to chapter 189. Chapter 189, Reassuring Comrades. No, don't come in. Go the other way around. And we have the Sugukos and, not Sugukos, but other Hashira members, other Demon Slayer Corps members, telling civilians to stay out of the area that the Hashira are fighting in. There's a sinkhole! It's dangerous and everyone needs to evacuate! Really? Is there a fire? There's no fire, so don't worry! Are you the police? We're investigating a sinkhole. The police asked us to come! And it shows the rest of the Demon Slayer Corps members walking around trying to navigate. The collapsing building didn't hurt anyone. That's because not many people are out at this time of night. And then there's a meow in the distance, and one of them notices that there's a cat. Oh, a cat. The poor thing. And it's Yushido's familiar. Here, can you get out? No, that waits. And then the cat immediately runs off in the direction of the fight that's going on. And the guy screams out, no, that way's dangerous. And the cat is ignoring him and continues on. As we see Muzan still fighting with the rest of the Hashira. Iguro attempts to stab Muzan. And Muzan... he doesn't attempt to stab him. Iguro goes in and manages to cut off one of Muzan's arms and kicks it away. He kicks it away just to keep it from regenerating. And Muzan thinks, as soon as he cut me, he kicked away the limb to prevent immediate regeneration. But his arm immediately just fully grows a brand new arm again. However, doing that only bought him a moment of time. And we see Muzan whipping his whips in a direction to try and hit Iguro as Iguro plants himself in the ground and dashes away from him. The inhalations of the mouths. It's a troublesome attack. It has great range with forceful suction. So the mouths that are on Muzan's arms and his whips are capable of sucking in, capable of being like a powerful suction funnel type of attack, as Iguro does his best to avoid it. It's a troublesome attack. It has great range with forceful suction. The large movement necessary to avoid them drastically reduces my endurance. 1 second. The time until dawn feels overwhelming. So to buy even 1 second, everyone in the Demon Slayer Corps is sacrificing their lives. Defeat is unforgivable. It is absolutely unforgivable to waste the lives of the comrades who protected us. Because if you remember, a lot of the Corps members use their own bodies to shield the remaining Hashira from Muzan's attacks in order for them to survive and to continue fighting. Many Demon Slayer Corps members have lost their lives. And then we show Giyu Tomioka fighting with Muzan, and as he's fighting and clashing with one of his whips, his sword is snatched away from him. Somehow the whip, I don't know if the whip made itself sticky in order to snatch Giyu's sword, but the sword is taken clean away from Giyu. My grip. I can't. And then it shows a whip bearing down on Giyu, but it's immediately destroyed by Gyomei's iron ball and an attack from Iguro. And Giyu can only look on as his sword lands next to him. But Giyu is just kind of staring blankly a little bit. And Shinazugawa comes in saying, "Stop spacing out or I'll kill you!" And then Giyu, raising himself, takes his sword up again and gets right back to fighting. You can still fight. Hang in there until the end. Put up a fight worthy of the Water Hashira. And then Muzan continues thinking to himself, because he hasn't really been saying anything. He's just been thinking to himself as he's constantly attacking a Hashira. They're surviving longer than I expected, but soon they will all fall. There is 1 hour and 14 minutes until dawn. It doesn't even take 5 minutes for cell destruction to cause their deaths. Struggle as they may, in the end, humans always die. And Gyomei's been, and as you can see here in this panel, as you know, I'm reading from Viz, but I also get the volumes as well, support their official release. But if you remember, Gyomei was hit, and Shinazugawa was hit as well, so everyone is steadily suffering from cellular degradation right now. They're fighting with all their might, and their bodies are literally breaking down from the inside. And Gyomei thinks, uh-oh, we won't last until dawn. And Shinazugawa's thinking, even as just ahead, I'll bite at him. And Giyu Tomioka is steadily bleeding, and Iguro is bleeding as well. I'm small, so the poison spreads faster. Darn it! So Iguro is suffering more cell degradation more than anyone else because he's so small. He's smaller than everyone else. Then Yushido's cat familiar jumps above Muzan all of a sudden, and this surprises Muzan. And then the casing that is on the cat opens up, and there's some vials in there, and they all shoot out, and they all hit. They hit Iguro, they hit Giyu, they hit Gyome and Shinazugawa. Oh no! And it's surprising them. What the? And then as Muzan pretty much uses his whips to just straight up just kill the cat, he just chops it to pieces. And it falls away, and Muzan is thinking, what is that? And then it shows Shinazugawa's face that was steadily misshaping itself because of the cell degradation. It starts to recede. So it looks like those vials had a cure for Muzan's blood, because Shinazugawa is no longer suffering the effects of his face breaking down anymore. It goes right back to normal. He's still bleeding, but he's no longer under Muzan's blood effects. And Shinazugawa is dodging more attacks from Muzan, with him saying, I don't know why, but a passing cat just helped us. And Gyome's thinking, the disturbance to my pulse and my body's pain remarkably improved. I can't explain it, but that was incredibly lucky. It may only temporarily relieve the symptoms, but now I can continue fighting. And then Muzan is just saying, that woman again. This is Tamayo's doing. She created something like a serum to stop the cell destruction. Even dead, she vexes me. Give up this pointless struggle. Just die already. And it shows Muzan just attacking them with such force that it's causing miniature craters everywhere. Like this entire panel is just filled with sound effects and craters left from the impact of Muzan's whips right now, and everyone's dodging it. Gyome's dodging it. Yeah, Shinazugawa's doing his best to almost dodge it, and Giyu's trying to dodge it. And then Iguro is thinking, I have achieved less in this battle than anyone. I wish I could deliver a more effective attack. When living creatures are near death, they exert explosive strength. A weak hand that has never lifted anything heavier than chopsticks can break through the thick lattice of a cell with a single hairpin. And you, Tokito, on the verge of death, you turned a white katana bright red and proved that regardless of the color of a katana, it is possible to turn a blade red. Speculating based on the crow's report, all Tokito could do in that moment was strongly grip his katana. Perhaps receiving a strong blow is what raised the katana's temperature. What stains a blade red is its wielder's pressing himself to the brink of death, so that his grip is like a vice. And as Iguro says this, his blade starts to turn red. And that's the end of chapter 189, onwards to chapter 190. Ooh, I love this series. Chapter 190, one after another. When I saw the bright red blade, I realized I had made a mistake. I saw stars in my peripheral vision. I was too intent on turning my blade red so I could deliver an effective blow against Muzan. I put all my strength into my grip, and I nearly fainted in the middle of battle due to the lack of oxygen. And Shinazugawa screams out, Iguro! As one of Muzan's whips. I want to say tentacle, but I mean, that's kind of what it is, but it's like a whip-like tentacle, so I just stick with whip. One of them aims for Iguro in this brief moment of his body not fully responding in that 1 second. If one of us falls, the burden increases on the others. Then we can't disperse Muzan's attacks. Hang in there and fight harder to make up for Kanroji. And it shows Kanroji being tended to by one of the medical demon, by someone who knows, by a medic. By a medic. I don't know why I was trying to make it more complicated than it needed to be, but she's being tended to by a medic. It's no use. I've lost sensation everywhere but in my hand. And it shows the spot where Iguro is being hit by one of those suction attacks by Muzan. with Giyu trying his best to reach it in time.
Iguro, I was too late.
And then it shows Iguro above Giyu in the air.
Iguro!
And then Muzan attempts to aim for Iguro in the air, but Iguro dodges in the air. Not only that, but in an instant before Muzan could even really react, his right arm is cut through, as so is some of his tentacles as well. Before even Muzan could react, his right arm was cut off. What kind of cut was that? And then it shows Shinazugawa aiming towards Muzan as they continue to clash again. It wasn't his iron ball. His katana can't cut like that. And he just came in to assist. Muzan is assessing everyone. He's saying that Gyome's ball didn't do it. Shinazugawa wasn't the one to do it. And Giyu wasn't the one who cut him because he was too busy assisting Iguro. And he can turn, and then he's looking at Iguro now. And he can turn his blade bright red, but he can't extend it. His trajectory as he dodged was unusual. And then in that moment, another cut goes across Muzan's arm. And it's cut off completely. I don't know if Iguro is doing this, but he is cutting Muzan so fast that Muzan is not noticing until after he's been cut. That cut again. It's a blade with a rough cut, and it's rickety. I see. Someone is there. I can't see this threat, but it is there. Even if a spell from Tamayo's demon hides it, as long as it is moving, it cannot hide. It cannot hide its existence. There are no dust clouds, but I hear the air parting. 1, 2, 3 attackers. And he slashes in a direction in front of him. And it turns out that it was Kanao, Zenitsu, and Inosuke. Yo, the squad is back! But none of them were really harmed by this attack. They all dodged out of the way, and I'm thinking thanks to Yushido's Blood Demon art, they were able to hide from Muzan. So it wasn't Iguro. It was Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Kanao who were cutting off his limbs, but he couldn't really tell. And then we got Zenitsu.
Ah! How dare you!
And then Kanao is saying to herself,
He noticed sooner than I expected.
And then Inosuke is saying,
Ow, 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 you filthy maggot.
And Gyome is surprised to see them, saying, You guys are still alive?
Of course I wouldn't die. Besides, I got tons of these papers. I picked up a bunch. Cut as many as you want, but I got more, your pitiful attacks.
And as he's saying this, he dodges out of the way of Muzan trying to attack him mid-sentence.
Ah!
And then someone says, Cut the unnecessary chatter. And as Muzan gets slightly distracted, Iguro comes in and he cuts off one of Muzan's arms again. Well, actually, he cuts off one of Muzan's arms. Not again, but he cuts off... No, yeah, he cuts off one of Muzan's arms again, because he cut off his left arm the first time. Now he's cut off his right arm. And Muzan sees this, and it shows the sound effect. This shows the effect for trembling around Muzan, and apparently his regeneration has slowed because it shows 2 panels with his arm slowly regenerating instead of it just being instantaneously back. And Shinazugawa notices this, saying,
He's regenerating slowly. If you use a bright red blade, even Muzan takes time to regenerate.
Then it shows Kanao putting one of the tags on her in order for her to, disappear from Muzan's sight. And Zenitsu, who's putting one on his head, but he's crying his eyes out. And we see so many different... We see two different breathing techniques from Kanao and Zenitsu.
Flower breathing, 4th form, Crimson Hanagoromo.
Crimson Hana... I'm gonna wait a moment for my brain to fully catch up.
Flower breathing, 4th form, Crimson Hanagoromo.
thunder breathing, first form, thunderclap and flash. And then Muzan, who's getting really upset about this, is saying, "You pesky flies have nothing but pitiful tricks." And then Iguro comes in with serpent breathing, third form, coil choke. And then Gyomei is noticing all of this as well, and he's thinking to himself in this panel, in this next page, in addition to Ikuro's bright red sword. Brain, slow down. In addition to Ikuro's bright red sword, it helps that we've increased in number. I'm glad they came. It creates just enough space for me to do something. And he throws both of his axe and iron ball into each other. That causes a spark. A burning smell and heat, and the color change just like that one time. It may not last long, but it'll improve my offense. And then Muzan notices this, and Gyomei's iron ball literally takes a whole chunk out of Muzan's upper left side. Starting to get bright out there. Good lord. And Muzan doesn't say anything. And then Shinazugawa says, "Tomioka, prepare yourself!" And Giyu is looking like, what? And then he clashes his sword with Giyu's, and their swords actually start to turn red. Huh? My blade is turning bright red?
"Ah! 1 hour and 3 minutes until dawn,"
says one of the crows. And then Shinazugawa says, "No problem. We'll chop him up in tiny little pieces." And that's the end of chapter 190. Onwards to chapter 191. Chapter 191. Which one of us is the demon? How many is that now? Is it all right to inject that much? How many is that now? Is it all right to inject that much? Quiet. It's been some time since Muzan struck him, so his condition is bad. Sorry. What are you doing? I'm trying to free his sword from his hand, but he won't let go. Even when he's unconscious, he's strong. Tanjiro, still unconscious, has not left. His grip has not left his sword. Huh. He must still have the will to fight. Ah! A pulse! What? His pulse came back! It's weak, but it's there! Tanjiro! Hang in there! Come back to us! Tanjiro! 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 Dawn is near! Tanjiro, let's go defeat Muzan! We've got him cornered, let's beat him together! And Tanjiro still isn't responding. Tanjiro! Tanjiro! And Yushido thinks to himself, his pulse is fading. It's no use. Muzan will get away! We have to go now! And then all three of them, Yushido, Murata, and one of the other core members, all stop. As there's a sound that just happened. What is that sound? It's his katana. And then, what? And then Tanjiro's hand moves. And then Tanjiro's eye opens. And then we cut to one of the Demon Slayer core members who is watching this fight with Muzan and the rest of the Hashira.
Wow. We just might do it. Maybe we'll last until dawn. And finally defeat Muzan.
And it shows Gyomei attacking Muzan, and they're all attacking Muzan, and they're actually doing some damage against him. And Shinazugawa is running towards him, and he notices one of the tags that Kanao and the rest of them use to go invisible with Muzan's sight. And he grabs it and he puts it on his forehead. Then we have Kanao, Zenitsu, and Inosuke going, with Inosuke going, "Zenitsu, Kanao, I want to turn my blade red too."
It isn't easy. First you need to be as strong as me.
And then Shinazugawa thinks, I get it now. Those of us wearing a seal can see each other. Cool, I'll use anything I can. Wind breathing, 7th form, gale sudden thrusts, gale sudden gusts. Wow, my brain doesn't want to say these correctly. I apologize, everyone. Wind breathing, 7th form, gale sudden gusts. And then Gyome's thinking, more fighters provided just enough leeway for me to concentrate. If I examine Muzan's body in the transparent world, I may learn something advantageous for battle. Listen closely to the sound reverberations, just like the other time. And Gyome peers into the transparent world, and he sees what's going on with Muzan. And Muzan has multiple hearts and brains throughout his entire body. So even if you cut off his head, as long as a brain and heart exists somewhere in his body, you're not going to kill him in one strike. Kind of like the Regenerators from Resident Evil 4. The only enemies in any video game that ever gave me a single nightmare. He has multiple brains and hearts. He's unbelievable. His internal organs are complicated, but he can make more than one body should have. This is why he won't die if we cut off his head. And his brains and hearts move. They don't have fixed locations, making it difficult to strike them. Not only does he have multiple hearts and brains in his body, but he can move them around his body to avoid any of them actually suffering a fatal strike from them being in a fixed location. Dude is using too many cheat codes. Muzan too strong, please nerf. Wait, if others could sense inside of him like I can, and if we could attack all 12 places simultaneously. Look closely at his body. Does your vision change? The rest of you can try it too. Does he look transparent? And then Iguro uses his eyes and he starts to peer into the transparent world. What is this? For a moment I could see through him? And then it shows Muzan just destroying the environment all around them. With one of the core members ducking right behind the corner of a building that's far off from battle and way out of range of him being attacked.
Whoa. Huh? What caused that sound and shaking? Huh? Where'd everybody go? Huh? What the?
And then there's a heart beating sound. And it shows that... Oh! Gyome is embedded into a wall next to the one Demon Slayer core member who's watching this fight, and his left leg is gone. Giyu is embedded in another building, and his right arm is sliced off. Shinazugawa is in the top half of another building in the distance. Iguro is thrown into another building. Zenitsu's thrown into another building. Inosuke has been thrown across the way. And Kanao is the only one who's still standing. With her thinking,
Muzan is too fast.
And it shows Muzan making his way towards Kanao. And even her sword has been completely cut through.
Hurry up and stand. Move. Move your feet. You must defeat him. So everyone can live in peace. So they won't have to feel sad again. He's responsible for the death of everyone's families. I'll beat him even if it kills me. Even if I can fight bravely until the end like my older sister.
Oh wait, not even if I.
Even I can fight bravely until the end like my older sister.
Apologies. I'm just messing up entire sentences today. Maybe it's because I'm too excited for this. And then it shows that one Demon Slayer core member who was watching this fight just run in saying, "Stop it!" And then Muzan brings his hand down, and he is engulfed by Hinokami Kagura, Beneficent Radiance, as it erupts from the ground directly in front of Muzan. Like Naruto bursting out of the ground to uppercut Neji during the Chunin exams. And it shows Muzan's arm just gone. Not just gone, but it's cauterized as well. And Muzan looks in his opposite direction as it shows, "Ya boy! Your boy Tanjiro holding Kanao and delivering her to the other Demon Slayer Corps member who was watching this fight go down. With tears in Kanao's eyes, she says, Tanjiro. Yes. Sorry I'm late. Take care of her. Yes, of course. You look positively awful, Tanjiro Kamado. And Tanjiro, who still has like the whole cell degradation thing happening over his the right side of his face, he just stares at Muzan in this panel with bloodshot eyes. He has, I'm going to frickin' kill you eyes. This way, it's hard to tell which one of us is the demon. And he looks at Tanjiro and has a brief moment of seeing Yoriichi in that brief moment. You make my skin crawl. Let's finish this, Muzan. Yo, it's just like Ichigo saying, let's finish this, Aizen. Like, and that's the end of chapter 191. Onwards to chapter 192. We got more. We need more. Chapter 192, The Wheel of Fate. In addition to receiving explanations hundreds of times, my understanding vastly changed upon seeing the accurate forms demonstrated one time. Maybe I'm just dreaming. Even still, I noticed wasted movement when it came to a slight variation in the angle of my wrist and differences in my footwork and learning the intervals between breaths. Yoriichi was a quiet and simple person. When Suyako asked to see the sword forms, he was kind enough to show her. Sumiyoshi watched them carefully, burning them into his mind so not one escaped. The sun-breathing forms were so pretty that he forgot to breathe. They were strikingly beautiful. I understand why they were later passed down in the Kagura. When he swung his sword, Yoriichi looked like a spirit rather than a human. Suyako and the children overflowed with excitement. I don't know why I called her Suyako. And Yoriichi looked down in embarrassment. Sumiyoshi asked him to come back someday, but when they parted, Yoriichi gave Sumiyoshi his ear ornaments. His Hanafuna earrings? Then Sumiyoshi realized that Yoriichi would never come again. Yoriichi looked sad as he walked away, and Sumiyoshi began to cry. Yoriichi, you saved our lives, so we will carry on your legacy. Your life is not without value. Don't you ever think that you didn't accomplish anything. I won't let anyone say that about you. I will pass down these ornaments and sun-breathing to future generations. I promise! And then Sumiyoshi just looks on as Yoriichi looks back at him with a smile on his face saying, Thank you. I am indebted to you, Yoriichi. Thank you for helping my ancestors. We cut back to Tanjiro. If it were not for you, we would never have been born. You believed in Tamayo and let her escape, and now she has helped us back Muzan into a corner. I can fight with the sun-breathing that you showed them. 12 of the forms have been passed down surprisingly accurately, despite the passage of hundreds of years. Dance, clear blue sky, raging sun, fake rainbow, fire wheel, burning bones, summer sun, sunflower thrust, solar heat haze, setting sun transformation, beneficent radiance, dragon sun halo, head dance, flame dance. You showed me 12 forms. I've been thinking about the 13th form that the hot flame Hashira mentioned, and I noticed something about the names. Dance and flame dance have similar names, and my father once said, if you learn how to breathe properly, Tanjiro, you'll be able to dance forever too. He always danced the Hino Kamikagura until dawn. Furthermore, I was certain when I saw Muzan's current form. Perhaps performing the 12 forms completes a ring, resulting in the 13th form. I will weave through Muzan's attacks and continue striking his brains and hearts until dawn. The 12 forms are connected by dance and flame dance. It's a tremendous task that's sure to put me through hell. I don't have Yoriichi or father's skill. I don't even know if I can stay alive until dawn. Besides, How can I prevent Muzan from escaping? And he thinks back to the memories of Yoriichi when Muzan literally just caused his body to just implode and explode into pieces. I can understand why someone might lose confidence, and he thinks of Rengoku's father. Can I do what Yoriichi himself couldn't? Nevertheless, I will give my best to what I can do. Keep your heart burning. Do not lose. Do not break. And then in that instance, it shows Muzan attacking Tanjiro. And they both clash. Yo, the moment has finally arrived. Tanjiro is finally fighting the person that caused him so much pain and suffering from the beginning of the series. The fight between Tanjiro and Muzan Kibutsuji has begun. And it shows the both of them attacking each other. And in a brief moment, Muzan sees Yoriichi, a ghost. And they're clashing with one another. And Tanjiro is hit a little bit. And then Muzan thinks to himself, I saw it. Oh, wait. No. This is Tanjiro thinking this. I saw it. Yes, the reason he defeated everyone. There are 9 tubes on his back, plus his 2 arms, and he projects 8 even faster tubes from his thighs and attacks with them. Muzan can change shape. If I think of him as having a fixed form, he will strike it in an unexpected way. And it shows Muzan steadily attacking Tanjiro, but Tanjiro is dodging all of the attacks using sun breathing, dance, why am I saying sun breathing first form? Why I'm thinking forms, sorry. Sun breathing, dance, raging sun, fire wheel. And it shows Tanjiro using these techniques and dodging Muzan and blocking his attacks. I will connect the forms, since that's how they are designed. Isn't that right, Yoriichi? I'll connect them all. I will do all 12 forms. And Tanjiro, still having the cell degradation growth over his right side of his face, is steady, is primed and ready to face down Muzan. And that is the end of chapter 192, onwards to chapter 193. And I can't tell if this is Tanjiro saying this or Muzan saying this. When living creatures are on the brink of death, they become stronger. I know that. In order to escape death, they tap into senses and strength unnecessary in daily life. Oh, this is him. This is Muzan saying this. Those who cannot do so will die, but those who can, battle. And in this massive color page, chapter 193, a difficult door begins to open. He turned his blade bright red without relying on his younger sister's power, which means he opened the door on the brink of death. The Hashira also turned their blades red in various ways. However, it's not enough. You will never be his equal. His red blade and sword swings were so much more formidable. And it shows Tanjiro still going up against Muzan and launching at him. Dragon Sun, Halo Head Dance, Fire Wheel! I finally connected 6 of the forms. I'm halfway there. His brains and hearts are moving all over and his attacks hold me back so I can't reach his torso. The intense pace is making my lungs heave, and my limbs hurt like they might rip off, and my heart feels like it could burst. There's 1 hour until dawn. 1 hour! And Tanjiro steps in Muzan's direction, and he steadily dodges from Muzan's attacks. Concentrate! Don't think about anything but this very second. My blade slows. My limbs slow. Just connect 1 second to the next second, over and over until dawn breaks. Fake rainbow! Burning bone! Summer sun! And he's just steadily connecting these attacks. His techniques are losing accuracy, and his red blade will soon revert to normal. Yet another warrior presents little challenge. Thus, he will never reproduce the technique that he used. Then all of a sudden, Tanjiro's attacks generate these deep, I want to say deep red blades of fire all of a sudden. And then Tanjiro coughs up blood. These blades of fire, like these massive slashes from Tanjiro, they don't really do anything to Muzan, but Tanjiro starts to cough up blood. And Muzan aims for Tanjiro, and Tanjiro still dodges his attacks. And Tanjiro continues to dodge, and something surprises Muzan, as a building that Tanjiro is, in front of gets completely demolished. But this confuses Muzan, though. Let me just read what he says. What's wrong? His movements lack vitality and he's slow. Movement exhausts human beings and weighs on them like shackles. So why can I not finish off one exhausted and wounded human? Even though Tanjiro is slower than he should be, Muzan still can't hit him. Why? And then Muzan notices something. It must be because I am slowing down too. Otherwise, a one-on-one fight would never have lasted this long. I must not fail to kill him a second time. That woman must have done this. I ingested Tamayo's cells, so I'll make her tell me. And then, in Muzan's mind, he forms himself, and then he tries to reform Tamayo, I guess. What did you do? The drug you used on me. Wasn't it for making demons human again? And then Tamayo speaks, saying, The drug I used on you does indeed do that. But I won't tell you what else it does. Use your multiple brains to figure it out for yourself. Oh, Tamayo sassy! And then Muzan in his mindscape crushes the head of Tamayo again, because she didn't give him the answer he needed. I will read the memory remaining in her cells. And he remembers back to, with Shinobu, along with Yushido, talking to Tamayo. That girl, she's the human poisoner that Doma ate. And then Shinobu speaks to Tamayo, because we're seeing these panels from Tamayo's perspectives through her memories. Let's mix two poisons on the assumption he can withstand one. The first one makes demons human again, but if that doesn't work, let's also include something that will have an even greater effect when left over. For the second one, an aging potion would be perfect. And this one that you made will age Muzan 50 years in 1 minute. Aging? I see. I'm aging. My body has been diverting strength to fight aging. That's why I'm struggling against the Hashira and the flagging demon slayer. How many hours ago did Tamayo give me the drug? 4 hours? No, almost 5. If I subtract the time it took to start working, it has been active for over 3 hours. In other words, I've aged 9,000 years? Yo! Bruh! The effects of the aging on Muzan has caused him to age 9,000 years! Bruh, somebody must have looked at Mayuri Kurosuchi's, acceleration drug from Bleach and thought, how about we do that, but make his body physically age all those years? The drug on his body not only made his body sort of kind of try and be human again with little effect, but it's also aged him 9,000 years. That's why he's moving slower. I should have noticed sooner when the color did not return to my hair. Ah, that's why his body looks like that. That's why his hair looks like that. He aged 9,000 years. That's why his hair's all white. Oh, Gah! 59 minutes until dawn! And then Muzan is surprised all of a sudden as Tanjiro comes in with sun-breathing, solar heat haze, Beneficent Radiance, Clear Blue Sky, Fire Wheel! And he just uses all these techniques on Muzan. Raging Sun, Flame Dance! Stop jumping around! Fake Rainbow! Dance! Setting Sun Transformation! Muzan tried to slash through Tanjiro and he thought he did, but with the fake rainbow technique, it was just a mirage. And Tanjiro continues to use these techniques on Muzan, and he cuts off one of Muzan's limbs. Burning Bones, Summer Sun, Dragon Sun Halo Head Dance, Sunflower Thrust! I connected all 12 forms, now faster and more accurately. Repeat this cycle of 12 until dawn! And that is the end of chapter 193, onwards to chapter 194. Oh, it's getting so good. We only have 2 more chapters left. Chapter 194, Burn Scars. And it shows Yushido's cat in pieces where Muzan cut it to pieces. And it's still twitching. And Yushido finally comes up and he picks it up. And he puts it back together again. Chachamaru, are you alright? Is that cat a demon too? Wow. I turned it into a demon right before the big battle. But why are you two just standing around? Go treat the wounded! You guys are really unhelpful! Oh wait, you said go treat the wounded. You guys are really unhelpful. Oh, right, we gotta go! Are you alright, boar guy? You need the serum. You haven't administered the serum? Agatsuma, the boar guy, and Suiru need it! I said that name wrong. I had to look at it for one quick second. I was all like, did I say that right? But I didn't. You haven't administered the serum? Agatsuma, the boar guy, and Suiyuri need it! Here, use this! What is that? Himejima, can you hear me? Oh no, his leg is bad. And this is Yushido tending to Gyome. Even if he regains consciousness, blood loss and lack of equilibrium will make it impossible for him to fight. Himejima is down with over 50 minutes left until sunrise. There's no way Tanjiro can last alone. Tamayo, please protect Tanjiro. Somehow you must. I'm begging you, he says with tears in his eyes. And we cut back to Muzan versus Tanjiro, with Tanjiro steadily using more flame technique, steadily using the sun breathing techniques against Muzan, while also dodging Muzan. And it just shows Tanjiro steadily dodging Muzan's attacks, thinking to himself, it isn't enough to just connect the forms. I must accurately target his hearts and brains. Concentrate harder. Enter the transparent world. And as he tries, his vision starts to blur out. I can't see. I'm not getting enough oxygen. Calm down. Pinpoint him by smell. You'll last until dawn. It's all... And then Tanjiro slips as he lands. Oh no, my footing! And in an instant, when it seems like Tanjiro's about to be eviscerated by Muzan, Iguro apparently shows up and pulls Tanjiro away, narrowly dodging massive attacks from Muzan that hit the building that they're across from in the process. Why won't you die? Someone saved me. That smell. My vision is returning. That pattern is... Iguro? And it shows Iguro, who has massive slashes all over his eyes. So Iguro can't even see. Iguro, your eyes! Did you get injured helping me? No, it happened earlier. Oh wait, no, it happened earlier. Shut up and quit worrying about others. As Iguro is dodging slashes from Muzan. Iguro, I'll back you up. My right eye was always bad anyway. I could barely see it. Oh, my right eye was always bad anyway. I could barely see out of it. I don't need your help. I have Kaburamaru. Kaburamaru? You've recovered. You've recovered? Then I'll let you go. Okay, thanks. And then Tanjiro looks behind him as Muzan has jumped towards them. He's following them. He's pursuing them, steadily trying to attack them. And Tanjiro drops past Muzan as Iguro goes in for Muzan. And Muzan slashes in a direction of Iguro and completely I want to say the best word to describe this would be completely disintegrates part of the building that is aimed in Iguro's direction. Iguro! And Tanjiro uses a flame, sun-breathing technique in order to defend himself from Muzan, still in midair, mind you. Iguro then is up against Muzan, and Muzan sees the snake, and the snake goes over, is kind of like just hissing in the direction of Muzan. And all of a sudden, Iguro uses a technique. Iguro uses a technique that protects him, with Muzan thinking, is the snake relaying information to him? Is a dumb animal like that reading my attacks? Wow, so the snake is telling Iguro what's going on, and Iguro is responding accordingly. Even blinded, Iguro is still able to contend and defend himself against Muzan thanks to Kaburamaru. Stop! Screams out Tanjiro. And then there's a hiss that comes from Kaburamaru towards Iguro, and he launches an attack towards Muzan while Tanjiro launches an attack towards him as well. Even if he trained in expectation of losing body parts, I should be able to kill a seriously wounded human being in an instant. It's the aging potion. I still haven't adapted, and recovering from it is sapping my strength. And it shows an attack barely missing Tanjiro, with Tanjiro thinking, everyone's attacks have weakened Muzan. His scent is gradually changing, but he's still strong. It's all I can do to avoid oxygen deprivation, so I can't enter the transparent world. Even at 2 against 1, this is hard. I have to break free of this situation somehow. Iguro has helped me many times, so I need to help him. Huh? What's that? Muzan's body is changing. Then, all of a sudden, scars start to appear all over Muzan's body. Not fresh scars. Not fresh scars like fresh cuts over his body. Scars that have, I guess, been there. Like they've healed, like they've been all over his body. And they're just now starting to appear. Are those scars? They look old. Oh, I get it. Yoriichi made those wounds. Despite hundreds of years, Muzan never recovered. Yoriichi burned Muzan at a cellular level. Those are Muzan's weak spots. Even now, Yoriichi is showing us the way. Yo, Yoriichi! Yoriichi, after all this time. Yoriichi, after all this time, left scars on Muzan that Muzan could not heal from. And since the aging potion is causing his body to age, it's starting to show where those scars are. And that's the end of chapter 194, onwards to chapter 195. Chapter 195, Bewilderment. At first, he looked weak. Oh wait, this is the point of view of Muzan when he first encountered Yoriichi. At first, he looked weak. He didn't show any drive, fighting spirit, hatred, or animosity. I never expected he could cut off my head, or wound me in a way that would continue to burn my flesh, my very cells, for hundreds of years like sunlight. Not even God or Buddha would have expected it. It was a ridiculous myth. But the real monster was him, and not me. And then we cut to Tanjiro thinking, Muzan can't hide his wounds anymore. He can't mask them. He's clearly weakening. The others brought precious time, pushing him into this corner, and they all did this together. So I must defeat him. I will see this through to the end. His wounds are moving. That must be where his hearts and brains are. Even if his constant attacks prevent me from entering the transparent world, I can still aim for his vitals. But I have to do something about Iguro's eyes. Kaburamaru can only help but so much. What should I do? Oh, right. Those eyes. Yoshido's eyes. If I pick those up. And then a crow comes in saying, 40 minutes until dawn! And Muzan sees this crow and disappears and starts running away from Tanjiro.
Did he run away? He ran away! Iguro! Muzan fled!
And then this surprises Iguro as he thinks he wants to escape. Of course, Muzan isn't a samurai with pride or a human being who acts on emotion. He's a thing that only clings to life. As dawn approaches and his life is threatened, he won't hesitate to run. Darn it, he's getting away. I can't keep up. Or is this Tanjiro saying this? As dawn approaches and his life is threatened, he won't hesitate to run. Darn it, he's getting away. I can't keep up. No, are we going to lose? Not like this. Then everyone would have died for nothing. And it shows him running past the bodies of all the Demon Slayer Corps members he's killed, and he's just running all over their bodies. He's just trampling over them. He's just running across them like they're nothing at all. He trampled on fallen Corps members! And Tanjiro's eyes get bloodshot. And then it shows a zoom in of Muzan as multiple Demon Slayer Nichiren swords aim towards him, just fly towards him in an instant. This had to have been Tanjiro. If this was Tanjiro, that dude got speed for him to throw like several swords at Muzan in an instant. Muzan slashes at the sword and breaks them. And it shows Tanjiro picking up every sword he can and throwing them at Muzan. What pesky insects. I drive them back, but they won't go away. And piercing attacks are more dangerous than slashes right now. And then it shows Iguro landing an attack on Muzan from above. He literally just did a death from above and just embeds his sword through Muzan's neck. And it shows the whips, and it shows his whips on his back aiming towards Iguro. And in an instant, Tanjiro shows up with his techniques and cuts those tentacles before they can actually injure Iguro. Iguro, here, take these! And he has Yushido's paper tags for him. You'll be able to share Kaburamaru's sight! And then Muzan tries to slash at Tanjiro and Iguro. And Tanjiro starts to cough. He starts to cough up blood. Oh no, the seals! Iguro, jump 3 long strides to the right! And Iguro does this, and Muzan tries to aim at Iguro, but Tanjiro is defending him with his breathing techniques. I don't know where Tanjiro threw them. They're too small. Get them, Kaburamaru! And Kaburamaru, being the good little snake boy that he is, grabs them and gives them to Iguro. Muzan won't get away. And he pins and Tanjiro pins one of Muzan's tentacles down. Tanjiro, thank you. And it shows you Iguro with the tag on his face, so now you can see. And now they can fight! It isn't like human sight, but I can see much better now. So fighting is much easier. Catch him between us. Move to constantly block him off. Don't let him get away. We can stop him together. All right. They're so persistent. They never give up. Move. Don't block my way. I'm running out of breath. My physical strength won't last much longer. I can't believe this. Muzan is quite beside himself right now. And it shows him constantly clashing with Tanjiro. And apparently the view is zooming out from Muzan right now, as it shows Nezuko! It's Nezuko! And she's on the outside, she's outside of the city. But she's turning human because her left eye still has the demon. Still part demon. But her right eye, with tears in it, has turned human. Yo! Nezuko's turning human! That's the end of chapter 195, onwards to the last chapter of this volume before we reach the end next week. Chapter 196, I Am. And it shows Nezuko making her way, trying to make her way towards the city, and she's huffing and puffing, and she's thinking of her family as her body starts to turn human again. It's not just her eye, her fangs, when she was a demon, they start to turn human again. And then she remembers when Muzan came. We are actually seeing the events of how Tanjiro's family died. Yo, I always wanted to know, not in like a weird kind of way, but I always wanted to know how it exactly went down. But it shows Muzan entering into their house, using his whip-like tentacles to slice through multiple family members, with one of the kids saying, "Run, sis, run!" And him getting cut down, and Muzan standing in the snow, saying, "So they die from an infection of this much blood. I cannot easily make a demon who can conquer the sun." And Nezuko just remembers what Muzan did that night. And then she thinks of Tanjiro making his way running towards his family way back when. And she gets teary-eyed as well. She remembers Giyu Tomioka. She remembers Urokodaki. She remembers Yushido and Tamayo. She remembers Zenitsu and Inosuke. And then she drops to her knees as she's huffing and puffing. As she also remembers Ubuyashiki, and she also remembers Shinazugawa and the Hashira. And she remembers Aoi and all the rest of the girls. Kanao, Shinobu smiling, saying, "You want to see the goldfish?" Remembering Rengoku. And she's huffing and puffing, and she's thinking of Uzui and all three of his wives, and all the swordsmiths, and Genya, and Tokito. And as she's picking herself up, the claws that she used to have turn back into regular fingernails. She's turning human again. And she gets up. She struggles to get to her feet because she's all out of breath. She no longer has that demon-like stamina anymore. She's human again. She's turning human, and she is feeling the effects of actual exhaustion. And she thinks of her brother Tanjiro with his hand out towards her. And she's huffing and puffing. And the thought of her brother saying, "Nezuko," it causes something to happen to Nezuko in her mind. And then she's holding her head because the memories are all flooding back to her. And it's causing her to have a headache. And she remembers her holding the hand of Tanjiro, but back when it was a demon, so it had the claws. And she remembers Tanjiro saying, "No matter what happens, your big brother is going to save you." And then we have it. Nezuko. Oh my goodness. Nezuko has fully turned human again. Oh my goodness. I mean, we all knew this day was coming. We all knew it, but to be here, for me to experience this moment, she remembers and she thinks,
I am Nezuko Kamado. A demon killed my family.
And then we cut back to the city, with Muzan still fighting Tanjiro. "Stand firm, but 1 second and then another. I sense life. They're returning. Those pesky Hashira. My attacks weren't enough to kill them. Their wounds should have been fatal, but they are not dead. Tamayo's demon is treating them, so they can fight to the death. It's this boy's fault I couldn't finish them off. No, it's not just him. The members of the Demon Slayer Corps are linked like beads in a rosary. That organization is like a living creature seeking to catch me in its coils." 35 minutes until dawn, says the crow. "This fight is over. I need not risk this any longer." And it shows Muzan not paying attention to Tanjiro, with Tanjiro noticing, saying, "He intends to do something. Maybe he..." And then Muzan starts to engorge his arm like he's about to blow up or something. "Igudo, Muzan is dividing. He's trying to break into smaller pieces and escape. Can the two of us stop him? No, if he divides, we've lost. If we strike 12 spots all at once." And then Muzan's arm looks like it's engorging, but then it recesses, and his arm goes back to normal again. He stopped? And then Muzan notices something. He can't divide himself anymore. Oh! Muzan can't use the same thing he tried to use to escape from Yoriichi. He can't do it. His one big ticket way of escaping is gone! Sorry, let me get back to this. I can't divide. I see. There was a third substance in Tamayo's drug. Human regression, aging, and division prevention. That vixen. Sorry, but you're wrong. And then, all of a sudden, Muzan coughs up blood. He coughed up blood. And then Tamayo, in his mind, oh, Tamayo, you absolute ace in the hole. There were 4 substances. After 3 weakened you, the 4th will begin cell destruction. Your most hated thing, death, is now so close. And that's the end of chapter 196. And that ends the end of volume 22 of my Demon Slayer KIMETSU no YAIBA read-through. We have one more volume, ladies and gentlemen, before the official end of the series. I just want to say real quick, I was about to put my mic down, but I got to say this to you guys. As I said at the beginning, I will be doing a live reading of the final volume of Demon Slayer on Tuesday when that volume releases. So don't expect it on Monday. I will be reading it on Tuesday live for you guys, so you guys can see my live reaction. It's not going to be a video. It's going to be a live stream where I read through the final chapter, final volume of Demon Slayer. We are here, ladies and gentlemen. We only have one more volume to go. So if you're patient with me and you can wait until Tuesday, I look forward to reading that. The fight with Muzan is reaching its breaking point, and I cannot wait to read the final volume for you guys. So I just want to say thank you for holding out with this series for as long as you have. Really do hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in the final Demon Slayer volume reading of my Demon Slayer KIMETSU no YAIBA read-through. Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you enjoyed what you saw here today, and you're new to the channel, then consider subscribing because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.